no property taxes in the state of Florida. Really? Is this possible? Could we actually eliminate property taxes in the state of Florida? Well, this is an idea right now being floated out there by our governor, Ron DeSantis. So before we get into if this could possibly go into effect and when, let's talk about what it actually means to eliminate property taxes. And before we do that, what makes up property taxes? What does our property tax revenue actually go towards? Well, there's several different things. If you look at a tax bill, you're going to see on your tax bill that you have your ad valorem taxes, which is the main part, makes up probably about 90% of your tax bill. And then you have your non-ad valorem, which is very small, about 10%. I'm going to start with the non-ad valorem because that's usually like your local fire department, possibly police. Some people have their waste management, their garbage collection is in there. So that's a really small amount, and I doubt that will ever really be touched. Ad valorem taxes, and that goes to things like your county, your municipality, like the city that you're in. Public schools is a big one. The local hospital. It could go to public parks and libraries and various things like that. So, if you were just to automatically eliminate that section of the tax bill, where would that revenue come from? Well, one of the ideas being floated out there is if you took it away from that, you got to add it somewhere else, right? Is adding it in consumption tax, like a basically an additional sales tax. Now, when I thought about this, I'm thinking, wow, do people really want to be taken from their property taxes, but then being taxed on everyday goods and services? Well, I guess it depends, right? It would really depend on how much that additional sales tax is going to be. But if you think about it, they could possibly collect more and therefore not have to increase the sales tax that much because now you have a much bigger pool of people that are spending, right? Anyone that comes in town buying goods and services, sales tax. You can even think about the younger generation that doesn't have to pay property taxes, right? They live with mom and dad, but yet they're out there spending money, right, on food, clothes, etc. So all that would add up where I think you could easily offset the elimination of property taxes. But there's definitely going to be critics of this, right? And there's probably people and municipalities and government that are going to be anti eliminating property taxes because they receive a direct benefit for it. And of course, we don't want to take away from our services such as fire, police, and things like that. But here's the thing that you really have to ask yourself and consider is that property taxes in the state of Florida have gone up tremendously. Since 2019, as a state, have gone up almost 50%. It's around 47.5%. But in counties like Miami-Dade and Broward County, the tax bills have increased by 56 to 57%. And as a homeowner, when you look at those extraordinarily high tax bills, what have you gotten in return, right? Your tax bill's gone up so much, but has there been an abundance of new schools being built? Has there been all these new hospitals being built? Like, what is the service being provided that justifies this higher amount of taxes that they're paying? So this is a very interesting topic. I think as property owners, we deserve to know what is our additional tax revenue going to, or what has it gone to over the last 4 or 5 years? Now, look, I think this has a long way to go before it actually becomes a reality, but I think there's steps that they could do immediate. And I think something, if you want to reward people that live here as their primary residents, they could easily increase the homestead exemption, right? Or just reduce the overall tax rate. If we're paying so much more in taxes over the last 4 or 5 years, but yet we're not getting any significant additional services, they could easily either lower the tax rate or for people that own property as their primary residence, increase the homestead exemption. Make it be an advantage for people that live here as their primary residence that they should pay lower tax bills from maybe someone that doesn't or an investment property. To me, that makes the most sense. So listen, before you get excited about property taxes being eliminated in Florida, this is something that's going to need a 60% vote in the Florida Senate. And right now, they are trying to pass a bill that would actually look into this. So basically, to do a study to see how they could eliminate taxes and where they could make up for that lost revenue. And that wouldn't get passed until March to look into the actual study. And then if they did, that would probably start somewhere in July. And then hopefully they would make a decision on that or have an outcome by October or November. So we're looking to the end of this year before this could even remotely become a possibility. But I will tell you, people in the state of Florida, they're already dealing with high prices, high interest rates, high insurance. And I can't stress that enough. And now, coupled with high property taxes, something has to give. And I think this is a very interesting topic, and I can't wait to hear more about it. Let me know what you think and have a great day.